Sterling High School Channel 19, winner of the National Emmy Award for the Best Live Game Broadcast.
You're watching Sterling High School Channel 19, serving Hynella, Laurel Springs, Magnolia, Summerdale, and Stratford.
For the first time since 1971, Sterling is South Jersey champ.
Went on to become the New Jersey Tournament of Champions winner. South Jersey's never won it before. So the Sterling Lady Knights and that string sing. South Jersey is well represented now.
Sterling is going to the championship game.
Looks like he's fouled there. Put up a desperation shot. And there he goes. It's good. It's good.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Sterling Channel 19 as we are getting ready for some high school wrestling between your Sterling Silver Knights and the Audubon Green Wave. Some nice Monday night wrestling brought to you guys here by Sterling Channel 19, and I'm going to quickly step aside and let the guys introduce themselves.
Declan Winters, sophomore, 150, Laurel Springs.
Anthony Gogolski, senior, 175, 190, Laurel Springs.
Kenny McCardle, senior, 190, 215, Laurel Springs.
Liam Crawford, sophomore, 215, Laurel Springs.
Desi Mullen, freshman, Summerdale, heavyweight.
Ryan Please, freshman, 106, Stratford.
Rene Camacho, sophomore, 175, 165, Laurel Springs.
John Beasley, senior, 157 and 165, Stratford.
Thomas Fitzgerald, freshman, 120, Clayton.
Joseph Rogers, senior, 126, Stratford.
Jaden Ferrier, senior, 175, Summerdale.
Victor Romano, sophomore, 157, Stratford.
Chris Galucci, freshman, 113, Stratford.
Joel Small, junior, 144, Summerdale.
Joseph Carter, junior, 132, Magnolia.
Rafael Sanchez, freshman, 138, Stratford.
Deborah Amon, sophomore, 120, Stratford.
Lily Stevenson, freshman, 120, Laurel Springs.
Maddie Hickman, senior, 165, Stratford.
So welcome back, everyone, and taking a look at the Colonial Patriots standings. On the top is the Collingswood Panthers. They're 9-3 overall, 4-0 in the division. And then right under them are the Haddon Township Hawks at a 4-6 overall record and 2-1 in the division. And then your Sterling Knights are at a 5-3 record, starting really well this season, 1-1 in the division. Haddon Heights 3-5 overall, 0-1 in the division, and then Gateway is 2-7, 0-2, and Lindenwold is 1-5 and then 0-2. And then the Colonial Liberty standings, the Audubon Green Wave starting off the year this year picture perfect for them to start. 11-1 overall, 2-0 in the division, and then West Deptford 6-2 overall, 1-0 in the division. The Paulsboro Red Raiders are 6-4 overall, 1-0 in the division, a team that Sterling lost to earlier this season. Gloucester is 5-4 and then 0-1 in the division. Then the Haddonfield Bulldogs are 2-7 overall and then 0-3 in the division. So Sterling 5-3 compared to the Audubon Green Wave 11-1. Sterling third in the Colonial Patriot compared to the Audubon Green Wave first in the Colonial Liberty. Sterling puts up 46 points per match compared to Audubon's 53, and Sterling only really gives up 30 per match compared to Audubon's 20. So Audubon definitely a big match for this Sterling team. Taking a look at some of the featured wrestlers for this Sterling team, though. Joseph Carter wrestling at 132. He has a 10-5 record. Rene Camacho at 165. He is 9-3. Anthony Gogolski, a.k.a. Gogo, 9-2, wrestling at the 175. And then Kenny McCardle at 190. He is 9-3. And then looking at the Audubon featured wrestlers, Rocco Monteferrante is wrestling at 113. He is 13-0, perfect to start this season. And then Pedro Marte is wrestling at 150. He is 9-2. Giovanni Patti is wrestling at the 165. He is 8-4. And then David Borozuik, he is wrestling at the 190. He is 9-5 on the season. So a big test for these Knights, and as I mentioned, one of the feature wrestlers, who is Monteferrante, he has won 9 of 12 of his wins by the pin. He plays first place at the Pete Adams Memorial Tournament and the Marinelli Tournament. He is someone that Sterling's really going to have some problems with. But to start, we're going to be starting with the 106 fight between Ryan Pleece and Jason Ortiz. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm joined by Max Zubek, and someone I'm very glad to welcome back here. He's done a great job at Rowan Television Network, also on the radio at 89.9 radio for the Rowan Radio Network. Also has been working with the Delaware Bluecoats, my good friend Jacob Clark. Jake, welcome back.
Thank you, Dan, for the warm welcome. It's a pleasure to be back here at Sterling.
Yeah, so we're covering wrestling. Jake's our little analyst here. He wrestled a brief amount of time here at Sterling. A quick 3 points here for Ortiz to start.
Good takedown by Ortiz. If you're Ryan Pleece, you got to try and build your base back up. Ortiz with some good wrist control, trying to get outside to work a half Nelson.
Ryan Pleece, the freshman, he's a 4-8 record. The junior, Jason Ortiz, at a 6-2 record this season. So both opponents searching for a couple more wins here.
Take a look at the replay right there. Solid takedown from Ortiz, and now Ortiz looking to get the pin. He's got him.
Pleece is in some trouble here. Ortiz looking for the shoulders on the mat, and he gets them. Early points for the Audubon Green Wave as Ortiz powers down Ryan Pleece. Give the Green Wave 6 points.
And Dan, coming into this match, just when you look at the statistics, Audubon has the clear advantage between 106 and 120 with Sterling rolling out 3 freshmen.
Yeah.
So they're taking their lumps at the varsity level and just trying to get that experience. And now Chris Gallucci taking on Rocco Monteferrante, who, as we mentioned, 13-0 against Central Regional on the 11th. He won by pinfall, and he's already off to a quick start with a takedown.
And Gallucci has done a pretty good job so far. He's won 3 straight matches, Pittman, Holy Spirit, and Lindenwald. This definitely being his toughest against Monteferrante, who is just so powerful. He's a senior for this Green Wave team. Again, 9 of 13 wins, by the pin. Plays first at the Pete Adams Memorial and at the Marinelli Tournament, and just someone that he's a force to be reckoned with in the Colonial Liberty and in all of South Jersey.
Well, he's doing a good job right here. Still going to work after the takedown.
And now has him where he wants him, and he gets the pin. Monteferrante also picking up a couple of points here. The Green Wave off to a hot start, 12-0 to start.
So we're going to take another look at it right here. Gets a good job, sinks that half deep. He also had control of Gallucci's legs. You see right there with his right arm, controls the leg of Gallucci. Doesn't allow for him to get a back bridge and try and bridge off of that, off of his back. He's able to get the pin there as now we move to 120. Audubon up 12-0 in the team score.
So Nicholas Sassany and Thomas Fitzgerald now going at it. Thomas Fitzgerald, as Jake mentioned, is a freshman. He has a 3-8 record compared to Sassani's 5-6 as a senior. Sassani's last win came against Mainland, and Thomas Fitzgerald won in a 12-7 decision versus Pittman on January 11th, and now Fitzgerald already in a rough spot here against Sassani.
And again, as we talked about, 3 freshmen coming out. They had tough matchups coming out today. As we take a look at the takedown on the bottom left of your screen, good job by Sassani just setting that shot up, gets deep. Good job driving the head to the side, getting the takedown, and now trying to go to work in the offensive position.
And I mean, if you're Fitzgerald, you gotta try and get back up on your feet here. Use your lower half strength, but Sassani doing what I think is a good job, kind of driving his upper half into Fitzgerald, kind of weighing him down on the ground, and eventually to take some good offensive position and try and finish off this pin.
Right now he's doing a good job of just breaking his base. You see right here Fitzgerald laid out flat. Fitzgerald has to try and slide his knees up, get to his base, and eventually look to try and either get a reversal or get to his feet and earn an escape point.
So both wrestlers still going. 12-0 advantage right now to the Audubon Green Wave compared to Sterling in overall match. Sassani with a 3-0 advantage over Thomas Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald now on his back. Back points being counted. Looks like the ref stopped at 3. May have 4 on the ground though.
That's a good arm bar there by Sassani, but he's got to be careful. He only has the 1 foot in bounds right now. Fitzgerald has to try and work to just get out and reset.
Fitzgerald looks like a little of an obstruction with his mask, which I don't think is much help. It's happened a couple times this year so far, Jake. It's our 2nd time covering wrestling, and I think this is the 2nd or 3rd time it's actually happened.
Yeah, his headgear fell off his head.
And there's the buzzer as we take a look at the replay.
So we're gonna take a look at it. He's got the arm bar in there, and he just tilts him over, and a good job by Sassani to keep that right foot in bounds, because if he rolls out with him, they got to reset. He doesn't get any of the backs. He was awarded 4 backs, so he leads on the scoreboard now 7-0 after the end of the first period.
So neutral position for both of these wrestlers. Sassani looking for the early takedown, and he gets him. Or not just yet, and nope, 3 points are awarded. So 10-0 the score here early against Fitzgerald.
Right now, I like what Sassani's doing. You saw him get the outside single right there. We're going to take another look at it on the bottom of the screen. Just quick to get the outside single, and then immediately goes to work on top, flattening out Fitzgerald. He's in total cruise control of this match right now.
I was just about to mention, Jake, you kind of have to feel that Sassani really thinks that he has that confidence boost right now, because a lot of times you see wrestlers take their time. Sassani kind of immediately drove for the leg, and I think that's a good sign that he feels that he has a lot of control over this match.
And sometimes it just comes down to having more experience. Sassani being the senior as he's trying to work a tilt right here, but to no avail, gets no backs. Good job by Fitzgerald to just stomach back down. They go out of bounds, but you can hear the official as he gets close to us telling Fitzgerald to wrestle. Fitzgerald has to try and work something, get back to his base, try and show the ref that he's trying to work, or else he might get hit with a stall warning.
Yeah. So Fitzgerald now at the bottom position. Has to try and work himself back on top. Sassani still doing a great job of just driving the head down here of Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald looking to fight back to get up on his feet.
Well, right now he's got wrist control. Sassani has wrist control, and that makes it really tough. And now he just drives him in with a half.
Yeah, this is an impressive move here by Sassani, trying to fold Fitzgerald over. Getting a couple back points here is Sassani. Ref counts all 4.
Now Sassani's got him where he wants him.
In a pin possible position, and the 3rd pin of the night here for the Green Wave, and the 3rd match of the night. 18-0 lead so far for the Green Wave.
We're going to take another look at it. He gets the half deep, and watch Sassani. He settles back, gets chest to chest, and does a good job of lifting the head up of Fitzgerald. Takes away any ability to try and bridge off his back and get to his stomach. A very good job there from Nicholas Sassani.
So R.J. Bauman here for the Audubon Green Wave versus Joseph Rogers. The first 3 matches have been straight pins here for Audubon. This is the first time they're going against someone that isn't a freshman for Sterling Joseph Rogers in his senior year. 5-6 record compared to Bauman's 7-6 record in his junior year. Looks like he's wrestled every match for the Audubon Green Wave at the 126 level. Also is flexible to the 132 level as well. He's won 7 straight matches. His last loss came December 28th against Northern Burlington. R.J. Bauman doing a great job of getting control here over Joseph Rogers, kind of driving him to the ground. Bauman fighting for the takedown, trying to get position on Rogers. Rogers trying to fight to stay up, and he gets the 3 points. Impressive start here from Bauman to start.
And right now I just think as a team, Audubon has come out more aggressive and seemed well-conditioned, and right now Sterling is almost wrestling passive to the Audubon aggressors.
Well, I think the first three wrestlers, definitely the freshmen kind of getting attacked, and especially Chris Gallucci going against someone like Monteferrante, who's just an absolute, I guess you could say, an absolute stud for this Audubon team, and I guess that's a little intimidating to start. Nevertheless, Rogers in a bad position here. Ballman almost has him where he wants him, has him folded over. Rogers gets pinned. Fourth straight pin here for the Audubon Green Wave. Early 24-0 lead here for Audubon.
And right here, Ballman does a great job. He gets the arm bar and he circles towards the head of Rogers to turn him over, has those shoulder blades pinned down to the mat. There's nothing Rogers could do other than wait for the ref to blow his whistle.
First 4 matches for the Green Wave, first 4 pins. We have 10 matches to go here as we're just about to enter the 130 or 132 matchup here between Joseph Carter and Brandon Irvin. Now, Joseph Carter, a kid who played a lot of football this year, a kid who showed a lot of promise in that sport, and is also showing some promise in wrestling at a 10-5 record compared to Brandon Irvin's 7-5 record. Joseph Carter, a junior, compared to Irvin's senior, and now Carter, with a little bit of an early advantage, gets himself 3 points.
That's just a good sign to see overall for the Sterling Knights, is finally somebody getting aggressive and opening up with a takedown. As we take a look at it right here in the bottom left corner, but Irvin's able to escape. Just a good job there by Carter to capitalize on that opportunity for the takedown.
So Carter with a 3-1 advantage here over Irvin. Irvin got a point back after he escaped from Carter. Carter and Irvin still battling here. Looks like Irvin kind of has the leg trapped. Carter tries to get back on top. 3 points awarded there to Carter.
That's just a great job by JoJo Carter to scramble right there to get out of a bad situation. Irving has his leg here, as you can see in the bottom corner, but he's able to just fend it off for a little bit, has a wizard in well, and does a nice job of getting on top. But now a reversal for Irvin.
Yeah, now Irvin taking advantage here over Carter. It's been a good match so far. Both wrestlers pretty even. Carter has controlled a lot of it, but Irvin now on the offensive as we take a look at the replay in your bottom left corner.
Just a good job by Irvin to get his hips up, and Carter had his hip down to the mat, which allowed for Irvin to get better position. Now he runs a tilt here, trying to get some back points.
He is going to get some back points here.
Now great job at chain wrestling. Wow. Fantastic job from Irvin there. Just swings from one move to the next, but Carter
showing pretty elusive flex here. Has 3 seconds left to stay up. Time ticking down. Carter's still up, and the buzzer blow. That one was close there, Jake. But Carter really showing really good flexibility there, and that's something we don't see very often, but the way he was able to arc, keep his shoulders off the mat, kept him in that one.
That was a great job by both wrestlers. For Irving, he did a good job of running that hazard into a tilt, got his back points, and that tilt is not a pinning move, but he's able to combo it with that arm bar to put him on his back, and a good job there by Carter to just fight off. He knew short time was in that first period, and he did a good job of just fighting it off and waiting for the buzzer, now able to reset for the second.
So the first time we've entered a second period tonight, the first 4 pins were in that first period. Carter looking to escape from the bottom. Irvin just driving the upper half into him. Kind of using the power from his lower half to, drive the Carter's head and shoulders into the ground.
I like, though, how Carter was explosive off the whistle. He wasn't stagnant. He did a good job of just exploding off the whistle. Doesn't result in any points, but that's a good sign to see still early in this match.
Carter very well conditioned. Was a wide receiver for the Sterling football team this year. Put up some pretty impressive numbers. If I remember correctly, also had a kick return touchdown this year.
Well, on the mat, a talented wrestler. He placed first at the Clayton Clipper Classic. He has 3 wins by pin this year, 1 by tech fall, so definitely talented for the Sterling Knights on the football gridiron and here on the wrestling mat.
Great athlete.
Irvin has that arm bar in, as you can see it there on your screen, but he's got to jump sides or he's just going to pull him over. So he runs it almost like a tilt just to get his back points.
He gets 4 of them, too.
Now he's going to flip sides and go for the pin.
Carter still showing the flex. You see the flexibility here. Irvin has to push his upper half down on Carter. Carter with a...
We're going to take another look at it. This is a good job here by Irvin. He got his back points, as you'll see right here. Gets about 3 or 4 backs. 4 back points awarded, and then he flips sides to try and get the pin. But JoJo Carter doing a good job bridging off of his back to keep his shoulder blades off the mat. I believe the match was stopped because of how Irving's arm was. Potentially dangerous, but a good job by Irving. This time he wins off the whistle, starting to break down Carter's base.
That bridge was really impressive there by Carter to maintain that flex in the second period, already like 1:30 down, and Carter stayed up. So Irvin does have a 6-point advantage over Carter, though. Carter definitely is going to have some ground to make up as we enter the third period, if we get there.
Irvin's looking to try and work a ball and chain. He's got to feed the left wrist through Carter's legs. Now he's going to get the armbar and sink him back for more back points. And that's been Irvin's bread and butter to this point. But give Carter credit, refuses to stay on his back for long.
And Audubon looking like the much more well-conditioned, much more talented team thus far, as Irvin with a big second period to get him bounce back into some good positioning here with a 9-point lead here over Carter.
Yeah, he got more backs at the end of that second period.
And you can follow our athletic director, Ken Ciano, on our Instagram or his Twitter at Go Night Sports. We have all the updates of stuff happening live here at the Castle. So make sure you guys go follow our athletic director, Ken Ciano, at Go Night Sports. And this time, I think he was ready for our little question here. This is Jake's first time seeing this. We're going to answer his little trivia question. First player in NFL history to rush for 2,000 yards. Jake, what's your answer?
Was that O.J. Simpson?
I was going to say O.J. Simpson.
I believe, because he had the record at first before
Eric Dickerson.
Dickerson broke it.
So we are going to go with O.J. Simpson, and we are correct. We need a little better next time from Ken Ciano, as he gives us a quick little wave. He was actually featured on our girls basketball broadcast last game. He sat with us for a half and, kind of talked some shop with us. Was a former girls basketball coach over at Overbrook. So that was a lot of fun to have him on. And Jake, you're our second special guest in 2 games here, or I guess a game and a match here at Sterling Channel 19, and really happy to have you back here.
Oh, I'm glad to be back, especially any way that I can help out coming back for wrestling.
And here we are. I'm Daniel Leakin, joined by Max Zubak, who's kind of just taking notes today, and Jake Clark. Really happy to bring you guys this stream today here between the Audubon Green Wave and your Sterling Silver Knights, as we're going to get back to the action here with Carter on top now. Irvin trying to break away. Carter with a really good job of putting him back on the mat. Carter now looking to take control here. So our next TV game will be it'll be Tuesday. It'll be tomorrow, January 14th. Girls basketball versus Paulsboro. That game starting at 4 o'clock. So make sure you guys make that adjustment. That game again starting at 4 o'clock.
And for Carter right now, he's got to find something. Maybe not looking just for back points, but down so big on the scoreboard, got to look for a pinning combination to try and come out with a victory in this one. So there's still some time, but time is quickly running out.
So Carter looked like he had the left foot in his hand, try to sweep out the right foot and plant Irvin, but Irvin did a good job of staying in his base, and now he's trying to pull Carter ahead of him. Great power here by Irvin, trying to get some back points for himself. He got 2 for the reversal.
And he's got a half in here deep. Got to be careful he doesn't go out of play.
He's going to get all of these back points here against Carter. Carter trying to bridge. Irvin now gets the pin. A hard-fought match, but Irvin takes the victory, and Audubon is awarded their 5th pin of the night.
And you saw right there on the replay, a good job by Irvin to just readjust. He did a good job of readjusting, getting his chest on Carter's chest. We're going to take another look at it here. You see he readjusts, gets Carter on his back, and is able to hold it for just long enough to get the pin. But give Carter credit. He fought hard to get to the third period, but unable to last out the 6-minute duration of the match.
So this is actually Cameron Johnson versus Aiden Lehan, the junior, 8-2. Wrestling at the 138, so Aiden Lehan is your Audubon wrestler. Already has himself a quick 3 points.
We got whistles there and a full Nelson against Lehan. Had both arms underneath. Johnson. Can't do that, can only have the one. So Johnson gets ordered a point, and now an escape makes it just a 1-point match.
But Lehan staying aggressive here. Has an 8-2 record this year. Won by a major decision versus Paul VI. That was on January 4th. Trying to flip Johnson right now. Johnson staying strong. And now he gets him on his back. He's going to get a few back points out of this. He's looking for the pin. Lehan has him where he wants him. Johnson still trying to build that bridge, but Lehan taking advantage here. Still fighting here is Johnson. Johnson doing a good job of staying resilient. Lehan has him exactly where he wants him, driving him into the mat. Johnson needs to stay up. Still searching for that pin. Johnson, every last bit of him trying to keep off this ground. Lehan still driving into the ground, and Johnson gets out of it.
Great fight there from Cameron Johnson, and he had an opportunity to maybe even get a reversal and a couple back points of his own. So we're going to take a look at the turn in your bottom corner. See, he has the half Nelson, drives him to his back, stuck him for a couple back points. Now looking to run an arm bar. That's one thing about these Audubon wrestlers is they're just constantly looking to work moves together with one another. But Johnson had a chance to punch his arm through and try and get back into the offensive position, almost maybe even stick Lehan for some back points. Still was able to fight off his back, though, and that's the most important thing right now, especially trailing 30-0 in team score.
So that's the end of period number one. Lehan has a 7-1 advantage over Johnson. Johnson did a good job to start, keeping himself in that match, but Lehan just ever so close to that pin, Jake, where both shoulders were just ever so close to the mat.
When he did a good job of running the half deep to even get into that pinning opportunity, but give Johnson credit to fight off his back and live to see the second period.
And Lehan just going straight back to work here against Johnson, gets the early escape out of the bottom position, and now goes back to work on the offensive, trying to push Johnson to the ground. Johnson staying strong, though, using his lower half, and now both wrestlers return to neutral position.
As you saw there in the replay, he just won off the whistle, exploded up, had a quick step off the whistle to get to his feet, turned his hips away and faced Johnson for the 1 point. Good job by Johnson, though, to not give up a takedown, because it looked like Lehan had a chance to get the 3-point takedown after the escape.
So Johnson and Lehan still battling here. Second period, Lehan with an 8-1 advantage over Johnson. A 30-0 total score. Audubon leads over Sterling. The first 5 matches have been 5 pins here for the Green Wave. Sterling still looking for that first point.
Right now, Johnson has to grab on to Lehan's ankle. He's unable to do so, but he's got to try and hold on to that leg now for dear life and just force a stalemate. Hope not to get hit with a stall.
So these two wrestlers still going at it. Lehan has 40 seconds to try and get a couple more points.
And we even saw when they were in the neutral position, it was Lehan who was just controlling the collar tie, but now has a cradle locked up.
He has that cradle locked in here against Johnson. Just has to get him in the right position. Johnson does a good job of rolling out of it.
Johnson's got to get his leg free, because right now Lehan still has control of the cradle. He's got to get his right leg free.
15 seconds tick here in period number 2. 4 back points awarded to Lehan. A 15-1 score here in period number 2. 8 seconds remain. The time ticks down, and that'll be the end of period number 2. 15-1 advantage Lehan has, and you can follow us on Twitter or X at Sterling TV 19. We'll have live updates of all the games and, of course, all the fun and exciting things you guys need to know around the castle. So make sure you guys go follow us on Twitter or X at Sterling TV 19. So Johnson and Lehan now in the third period. Johnson back in the defensive position. Lehan in the offensive. Just taking control like he did back in that second period.
And you saw Johnson try for the switch there off the whistle, but a good job by Lehan to just follow, and now Lehan has him broken down off his base. Johnson trying to get back to his base. Now Lehan might have another turn in the works, but right now Johnson either has to get an escape or a reversal, and you definitely need to look for a pin if you have any hope for a victory.
Yeah, Lehan has controlled this match through and through. Johnson has had a few close calls to being pinned, but has not gotten the full thing, and now Lehan back on the offensive. Johnson now in some trouble, trying to build that bridge. Lehan trying to force him down, looking for the pin. Johnson still squirming, trying to keep that bridge, trying to get back onto his stomach.
When you see him, he's trying to punch that right arm through to try and just belly down. Now going to the back bridge here, but Lehan has that half in deep.
Still driving, and he gets back on the offensive. Johnson trying to break away, and 4 points awarded, and that'll do it for this match.
So we're going to take a look at it here as Lehan wins by technical fall, but he punches that power half through, and you see Johnson, he's going to try and punch that arm through to try and get back to his stomach, but he's unable to do so after giving up the back points, and he falls 19-1.
So now it will be Jaden Williams, the sophomore for Sterling, wrestling at the 144. And James McSweeney for Audubon wrestling at the 144. So that's the first time Audubon has not gotten a pin. That one was a technical decision.
It was a tech fall there. You only lose the one team point. Instead of being at 36, now you're at 35. The scoring, pin is the most at 6. Tech fall, if you win by 15 or more, the match stops. You get 5 team points. Major decision is 8 points or more. And so Williams
starting to get to work here. McSweeney also playing the offensive, has that leg, tries to do the sweep. Does a good job of it, does get the takedown points. Williams trying to force himself out of it. A sophomore at a 2-2 record compared to McSweeney's 6-3 record. 2 wins on January 4th, a pin versus Willingboro and a pin versus Penns Grove. So McSweeney trying to get to work here against Williams. Williams still fighting. And they go out of bounds.
We're going to take a look. This is a nice job to elevate and put that leg almost up on McSweeney's shoulder. Just trips Jaden Williams. And now Williams got to be looking to at least get one here. Still plenty of time with 52 seconds remaining.
So Williams, 2-2 record as the sophomore. His last match was on the 11th of January. It was a win by pinfall against Lindenwald. His other one was a forfeit against Palmera. Now looking for a win here against McSweeney, but McSweeney has controlled most of this match so far. McSweeney now looking for the armbar here. Doing a good job of controlling Williams. Williams still struggling to stand up.
If Jaden Williams can get his head out here, he can potentially get a reversal.
Nice flip here. Gets him a couple back points here for McSweeney. Only gets 3.
Williams can just pop his head. He can get a reversal. Finally there, he pops his head, so he gets at least 2.
Jake, I think he heard you there.
So we're going to take another look at it here. A nice job by Williams. McSweeney gets his weight just too far away from Williams, and he's able to pop his head free to get the reversal at the end of the period.
So McSweeney has an 8-2 advantage here at the end of period number 1. Williams, as Jake said, did a really good job at the very end of that to pop his head out, get those 2 points for the reversal. Now we're going to start on the bottom. McSweeney's going to start on the top. So again, 8-2 in favor of McSweeney. Audubon favors Sterling 35-0 in the total team points. Williams trying to grab that back leg. McSweeney trying to wrestle Williams back to the ground. Williams now looking for the escape. McSweeney now gets the leg once again, does a nice move. Go out of bounds.
Good job there by both wrestlers. To Williams being able to get up to his feet, had a chance to try and break the grip of McSweeney and get his hips away to face him for the escape point, but a nice job by McSweeney to take that leg, hoist it up, and keep Williams off balance.
McSweeney's kind of done that move a couple of times so far. It's been pretty successful to get Williams back to the ground. That time they just went a little too far out of bounds. Williams now trying to get back up, gets the escape point, and now tries to go to work here against McSweeney.
Like the aggressiveness from Williams, but maybe not the best shot there. Seemed a little bit rushed. Turned into a sloppy shot, and McSweeney in a good position now.
McSweeney now trying to force the leg onto the ground. A nice move there from McSweeney as we take a look at the replay on our bottom left side of the screen here. Looks like another 3 points were awarded there to McSweeney, so it's 11-3 now. Williams now flat on his stomach. McSweeney in the offensive here, trying to roll Williams over, maybe looking for a pin attempt. Kind of has that armbar locked in on behind the back, trying to flip him over. Nice move there from McSweeney. And he gets the pin. So James McSweeney with the pin here against Jaden Williams. The 5th pin of the night and the 6th win for the Audubon Green Wave. It's 41-0 team score.
Take a look at it right there. Nothing Williams can do. He just stuck him. Put Williams in a tough spot. We're going to take one more look at it. Good job just to turn him over. He has control of the head. And you see right there, the arm around Williams' head doesn't allow for Williams to even have the opportunity to bridge. We saw a couple times with Carter and Cameron Johnson, their ability to bridge and fight off of their back, but with his head being scooped up, Williams had no chance to try and even get to the back bridge.
So now it's Pedro Marte against Declan Winters. Pedro Marte, one of the better fighters for this Audubon team, at an 11-2 record. He has 2 wins by tech fall this year, Haddonfield and PVI, and also plays first place at the Marinelli tournament at 150 pounds.
It's the weight he's wrestling at here today against Declan Winters.
But Declan Winters definitely no foe to scoff at, as Declan Winters has had himself a really good sophomore season. He's at a 6-2 record. His last match was at Lindenwald. He won by a pin. He placed second at the Clayton Clipper Classic. Looks like there was a little bit of a foul.
Potentially dangerous there. You saw Marte, the way he was holding on to Winters' ankle. Could have went south there for Declan Winters, so a nice shot by the official to get in, step in, and have them work back center.
So Winters now and Marte back in the neutral position. No score yet from either of these wrestlers. Marte, the more experienced wrestler compared to Winters, but Winters definitely still doing a great job here. But Marte now looking for the slam, trying to deliver him down, and Winters now in a bad position. Marte does a great job. Winters trying to escape from underneath, gets back up onto his knees, trying to stand back up into the neutral position.
We're going to take a look at this right here. Good takedown there from Marte, and then powerful takedown, just drives him right to his back. Nice job by Winters. You saw he punched that left arm through to stomach back down, but all in all, 3 points for the takedown, 2 points awarded for having Winters on his back for a brief period of time, and now Marte leads 5-0.
So Marte now still working here against Winters. Winters still trying to battle here against Marte. Again, Marte, a little bit more of an experienced wrestler, is a senior. And Winters does get the escape point.
Good job there by Declan Winters to just get up to his feet. You see he was able to break the grip, but now Marte, good crossface there by Declan Winters to fend off that shot at the end of the period.
So that'll do it for period number 1, as Marte gets the 5-1 advantage over Winters. But Jake, I have to say, I think Winters did do a phenomenal job of staying in that match throughout the first period.
He was caught in a tough spot there, almost being pinned, but a good job to punch his arm through. As Coach Desmond Wiggins has to be happy about that. Coach Wiggins leading his team to a 5-3 record. They're sitting 1-1 in their division in the Colonial Patriot.
Coach Wiggins, also the coach of our Sterling football team, kind of, rejuvenating both of these programs between the wrestling program and the football program. Kind of the head of each. Now Marte going back to work on the offensive here. Winters trying to get the wrist control and does a good job of escaping out of that one. Tries to go right back to work, but Marte does a good job of driving the head down, trying to get the takedown points, and he does. So, Jake, that seemed like another one of those occasions where it was almost a little bit too jumpy from, off the escape to try and get back in there, and it almost looked too sloppy from Winters.
Yeah, he does a good job of getting the escape point there, but goes for a sloppy outside single that seemed rushed, and Marte was ready for it, capitalized with a takedown of his own.
It's now both wrestlers back in the neutral position. Marte has had the advantage most of this match. Winters doing a good job of battling.
Winters has to be careful here. He has to work forward. You can see he's starting to play or wrestle towards Marte's pace.
And just a really nice move there by Marte. Super shifty at this 150 weight class. Marte now has a hold of the leg, trying to drive down. 3 takedown points awarded to Marte. Still wrestling here with Winters. Winters kind of in a rough spot here as he has a hook around the neck and also one around the right knee.
Yeah, Dan, he's trying to lock up a cradle, and Winters has been giving him that all night tonight in this match because he's been vulnerable to the cradle with the way he's standing up. When he's trying to, he has his head in a front bridge and his legs are straight up. It's just prime position for Marte to try and lock up a cradle. But give Winters credit here. He looks like he's trying to fend it off.
So Marte's still driving, still trying to force that cradle. Does have the right arm removed from the back of the head, so maybe trying to get himself out of that cradle. Now Winters looks a little bit more in the offensive here against Marte, but the time ticks down. Maybe he was looking for a reversal there, trying to get himself 2 points before that second period, but second period comes to a close, and Marte still holds the 11-3 lead over Winters.
And one thing that Declan Winters has to do, he's done a good job with Marte getting in deep on those double leg takedowns. He's done a good job fending them off with his crossface from the neutral position. But when he's trying to stand up, he has to be careful. He's making himself vulnerable and in a potential bad spot to get locked up with the cradle, as we saw in that second period. Lucky that Marte didn't convert and he was able to fight out of it.
So now both wrestlers in the neutral position. Period number 3, Marte again has a 11-3 lead over Winters. Audubon with a 41-0 total team lead over Sterling.
Good
Winters.
sprawl by Winters initially, but he's got to get his hips away. And now now that he's sat down, he's going to have to belly down and give up the takedown. Good sprawl initially, but his hips came back, and he wasn't able to kick his hips away a second time.
So now Winters in a pretty bad spot, 4 points away from being, or 4 points away from losing, by technical fall here against Marte. As we take a look at the replay in the left side of your screen, Jake makes a great point with the sprawl, but again, as Jake said.
See, and right here you can see it, the way Winters stands up, where he's got his head down and his legs open like that. It's prime position for Marte to try and lock up a cradle, and I'm shocked that he hasn't been able to try that more often. But now Marte looking for the tech fall. I believe one takedown away, if my math serves me right.
Your math does serve you right there, Jake, and still trying to force that takedown here, and a nice aggressive slam there against Winters, and he does get the 3 points.
He's looking for the pin. He has the tech fall locked if Winters is able to belly down. Oh, that gets the pin.
So Pedro Marte had the tech fall, but he gets the pin for that extra point. So Audubon now up 47-0.
And it's not going to matter in this match, but I'm sure that Coach Desmond Wiggins has to be a little frustrated with Declan Winters right there, trying to save team points, right? We all know math, 6 is greater than 5, and every point counts in a tight match. This one not tight, but same scenario in a tight match where it comes down to it. If Winters is able to just fight to his belly here, he gives up only 5 instead of 6. But he gives up the pin, and now we move to 157, as it'll be Victor Romano for Sterling. He gets in with an early takedown.
Yeah, early takedown here for Romano.
So Romano with the power half. He has wrist control on that left wrist now. We're going to take a look at the takedown. This was a strong takedown right out of the gate here for Victor Romano, as his opponent got too high. Nice job by just popping the arms, getting low, and getting the takedown for 3.
So Romano wrestling in place of John Beasley at this 157 weight class. Beasley was a senior, 5-5 on the year. Romano, 2-1 record as a sophomore. His last match was the 11th at Pittman. He won by pinfall. His other one was at the 20th when we covered Sterling versus Paulsboro. So Pilla now getting an advantage here over Romano, gets himself 2 reversal points. Pilla now still driving, trying to get Romano onto his back. Does get the advantage, and now Romano in a bad spot. Back points being awarded here. Romano gets himself out of it, though.
He's got to
still driving.
He's got to get his left arm back.
Yeah, he has that pretty tight Pilla. Still trying to drive, and Romano does a good job staying on his stomach initially, trying to use his left arm to brace Pilla. Still driving, has to kind of sweep that left arm to get him onto his back, but Romano once again does a good job.
And short time, 15 seconds remaining in the period, so if Victor Romano can just fight here and live to the second, it's a whole new match. Oh, this is not good.
Down, and Romano in a bad spot here. 3 seconds remain, trying to stay alive here for just another second, and he gets it. You can follow us on Facebook at Sterling Channel 19, where we have all the information happening with streams, all the information happening around the castle, and stuff you guys need to know at home. So make sure you guys go follow us on Facebook at Sterling Channel 19.
I'm shocked the pin wasn't called there because it looked like Romano was really out for the count, but give credit to Victor Romano to fight off his back and be saved by the buzzer here in the new gym.
So 6-3 the score after period number 1, Romano versus Pilla. And Pilla definitely had Romano in a pretty rough spot, as Pilla getting the early offense here over Romano. Trying to get into position. Romano still pushing, and now in another rough position is Romano. He gets himself out of it. Romano has impeccable upper body strength, has kind of forced his chest up and pushing Pilla off of him on a couple of occasions here in these first 2 periods. Pilla's still now in the offensive.
And now Pilla has the chance to run the armbar. You see he's trying to walk towards Romano's head. If he can get him to turn, Romano's not in a good spot.
Pilla now loses the armbar advantage, as Jake just mentioned. Kind of still has that left arm hooked.
And Pilla has to be careful here because if his arm moves up, could be called potentially dangerous. They're going to have to reset. That's something the officials definitely need to watch out for.
Romano now still battling, but they could call it out of bounds. So Romano gets a breath of relief. A little bit of a couple of words of encouragement there from Coach Dez, as Romano's going to start on the bottom. Pilla's going to start at the top.
And right here, Romano has to try and win off the whistle. Short time. He's unable to do so.
Yeah, Pilla. And it's something that we've seen a lot from these Green Wave wrestlers, Jake, is they're very, very explosive off rip, especially off some of these whistles where Sterling can have the opportunity to kind of change the tide, but the Wave, it just keeps storming on, and Sterling, it's getting tough to, jump off these whistles and get an advantage.
And when you're in that top-bottom position, it's always taught that you want to explode off the whistle, but right now it just seems as though Audubon has had the advantage all night tonight at that, regardless of the period first, second, or third.
So Pilla and Romano still battling here at this 157 weight class. And as we knew it, in a blink of an eye, time has ticked down to 5 seconds. Romano still trying to stay in this one for a couple more seconds. And that'll do it. You can follow.
So we're going to take a look at the replay right here. Nice job. Romano shouldn't have reached for the head there because that allowed for Pilla to get around and put him on his back and get those extra back points.
So Romano now with 2 more minutes to try and get some points here against Pilla. Pilla has done a good job of taking advantage over this matchup. Romano still cannot win off the whistle. Pilla trying to weigh him down. Romano trying to get back onto his feet, trying to get back into that neutral position. Got an early takedown off of the neutral position, but ever since he's kind of gotten dominated on the mat. And Pilla in the offensive position has kind of taking it to him at the moment.
Well, Pilla's done a really good job in the offensive position, getting a lot of back points Romano didn't do himself any favors reaching for the head of Pilla. That allowed for a couple more back points in the second period, as we saw on the replay. Right now, Victor Romano, he's flat. He's got to get back to his base and got to try and work for either a reversal or to get up and get back to that neutral position, and he gets the 1 point for the escape.
Now, Jake, on a quick general statement, it seems a lot that so far in this match, Sterling, most wrestlers, has kind of shot themselves in the foot quite a couple times, and stuff that Audubon has taken advantage of, and now jumping on it. Now Romano back in a bad position. Pilla now on top, and he gets the pin.
Right here, Pilla gets the half in, but it looks like Romano has a chance to bridge. However, chest on chest, he doesn't lift the head, but he gets that weight forcing down on Romano. So we're going to take another look at it.
8 out of the 9 fights, matches, oh my goodness, matches between Audubon and Sterling have resulted in pins in favor of Audubon. The only one technical fall came in the 138 match, but the rest have been pins. But now we have a really good match here between Rene Camacho and Giovanni Patti. Now, Rene Camacho, a sophomore for this Sterling team, really does a good job of driving, and Patti now on the offensive early.
Camacho, yeah, good job there by just getting his arm freer. That could have been a bad situation for him early. Patti coming back with a good, strong mat return.
So funny enough, Giovanni Patti of the Audubon Green Wave, someone I've known for quite some time. I actually went to summer camp with him for quite a lot of years back in my younger days, and kind of cool to see him in this scenario. It's the first time I've seen him wrestle, so I'm sure I'll be talking to him later for Audubon on the post-game show to follow.
Right now, Camacho has to get that left arm back. Good job by Patti, but Camacho gets back to his base. See, right there, Camacho doesn't want to have that right leg up for long, as Patti could have gone for the cradle, but a good job to get the reversal.
Trying to go for the big slam there is Camacho. Camacho, very lower half driven, played the linebacker position this year for Sterling football. And does a good job of trying to get this offensive position over Patti. You know, the first minute of this match was pretty much in favor of Patti, and Camacho does a good job of turning the tide here, trying to get into a good position and try and force the pin.
We did a good job of getting that reversal and now trying to go to work in the offensive position, but give credit to Patti, who rolls through.
Does a good job getting that reversal. Just really smart wrestling so far here by the Green Wave. Has done a good job of kind of noticing little small hints of mistakes here by the Knights and kind of rolling in and trying to, you know, capitalize off of turn or reversal points or even takedowns.
Yeah, it looked like a Peterson there from Patti to just turn over and get the reversal, try and get a couple back points, but a good job by Camacho to keep his shoulder blades off the mat. And we're sitting in a 5-2 match right now in favor of Patti.
So a really strong period number 1 between the two, and Patti and Camacho finished at a 5-2 score in favor of Patti. Audubon with a 53-0 lead over Sterling.
Sterling's going to defer here. Let's see where Patti and Audubon choose to go. They elect to go on defense here in the second period.
So Camacho will start on the offensive position over Patti.
And if this match stays tight, it's an advantage here for Sterling to have the choice in the third period, because you get a whole other period to see how these two wrestlers work out here on the mat.
So Camacho, again, trying to use his lower half to try and drive his very, very strong lower half. He's displayed a lot this year against a lot of opponents. Camacho, definitely one of Sterling's best wrestlers. He's a 9-3 record as a sophomore. His last match, he won by forfeit, 3rd at the Clayton Clipper Classic, and 3 wins by pin, Deptford, Haddon Township, and Paulsboro. But Patti does a good job of getting the reversal.
Good job by Patti, tried to roll out of it, and then one move led into another. And that's one thing that I've been really impressed with today by Audubon, is their ability to chain wrestle and put moves together in combinations that allow for them to be successful. And obviously the success is all over the team scoreboard, 53 to Sterling 0.
So Camacho now trying to drive, has Patti where he wants him, gets on top, so he does get the takedown points there. So big 3 points there as it's only a 1-point deficit here for the Knights.
Yeah, they're going to get Camacho on the full Nelson. You heard the Audubon coaches from our crowd mic call out for that. We're going to take another look at it here. He gets awarded the takedown. And then that left arm, along with the right, went under the arms of Patty onto the back of his neck. That's illegal, not allowed to do that. Therefore, he gives up a point. Now trails 8-6, but still on top in the offensive position.
So Camacho trying to drive, still has his lower half. And something I see a lot from Camacho, Jake, is he likes to kind of dig into with his legs and kind of just drive forward. And I've seen that pretty commonly from the first match I watched him in, and the matches last year as well. He's just a very driven-based wrestler.
Well, right now, you keep hearing Coach Dez, and that's one thing, is to use that power that he has in his legs, he's got to be able to stay on his toes and drive, just in a much better position overall.
Now Patty now on the offensive takes him down. So 3 points you definitely don't want to give up at the end of that second period there, Jake. And I mean, can you tell us what went wrong, if there was anything that you could see?
Well, it's only 2 on the reversal, and I think that Camacho thought both wrestlers were going to work out of bounds. Patty got himself into a better position and ultimately gets the reversal. And now Camacho electing to go on defense here in the third.
So Patty now in the offensive. Quickly takes his left arm away, trying to get himself in a good position here. Looking to take both arms away. Does a good job of getting Camacho back on the mat. 15 seconds have already ticked here in period number 3.
Nice work there by both wrestlers. Camacho to get to his feet, but a good job by Patty. And a good job there by Camacho. We talk about Audubon chain wrestling a lot, but that was a great job there by Rene Camacho just to keep moving, keep trying different things. We see right here on the replay. Does a good job of working one move into another. He let him, and so he let him up, and the strategy behind that, as we've got whistles and either blood or injury time for the Audubon Green Wave. But the strategy behind that is now it's only a 3-point match. If Camacho is able to get a takedown, he ties the match at 11.
And you can follow us on Instagram at Sterling TV 19. We'll have all the behind-the-scenes action here at Sterling Channel 19. Also, a little peep into what Mr. K sees in his life. So make sure you guys go follow us at Sterling TV 19 on Instagram. So a really good match so far here between Camacho and Patty, and one of the most competitive ones we've seen thus far. And Camacho, even though Patty has had the advantage most of this match, I think Camacho's done a really, really good job of just kind of staying in it with a very talented senior wrestler.
And he puts himself in the opportunity to tie it, as I was talking about before the promo. So the injury time is up. And now if Camacho's able to get a takedown, he ties the match, gets a turn, he takes the lead. But Patty extends the lead and almost puts it out of reach if he's able to get a takedown. So the last minute and change is important here for both wrestlers.
They go over into the out-of-bounds area.
And a stall warning issued against Patty. You can see Camacho's really being the aggressor, working forward. That's something that Patty has to be careful. He gets one more of those. Camacho gets a point, and then a takedown wins it for him.
So Camacho now, as Jake said, being the aggressor. Camacho looking for a takedown, trying to knock this one up at 11.
And you can tell Patty's trying to stay out of the collar tie with Camacho, who seems to be the stronger wrestler up top.
Camacho trying to get him down, has himself in a good position.
He's got to get that leg free and try and circle behind.
Has to try and push here. Patty's close to getting back up. Camacho still needing to fight here. 30 seconds remain here in period number 3. Has to try and get the takedown. Limited time.
So short time, now under 30 seconds. Not sure if it was a stalemate or potentially dangerous that broke that one up, but nevertheless, they work back center.
So 20 seconds left. Period number 3. Patty 3-point advantage here over Camacho. Camacho needing a takedown to try and tie this one up. Camacho has to go here, getting the word from Coach Des that he has to go. Still trying to power forward.
I'm shocked there's not another stalling. It's Patty.
Patty just trying to move away here against Camacho, and that'll do it. He does get an extra point there for the stall warning, but realizes that doesn't really matter, and Patty takes this one over Camacho.
And I don't like that from Patty. He just kind of scampers away from him. A short time, smart move, yes, to able to win the match 11-9. But ethically, Dan, that just doesn't sit right with me.
So it'll be Anthony Gogolski against Gabe McCracken. Anthony Gogolski, a.k.a. Gogo, having a really good season in his senior year. Didn't know if he wanted to come out and wrestle this year, but has a 9-3 record as a senior. His last match he won by pinfall against Lindenwald. His 3 wins by pin came against Palmyra, Pittman, and Haddon Township, and one by major decision, which was Paulsboro, which he won 11-3. Now McCracken, on the other hand, has done a pretty good job this year as a 5-8 record. His last match against Central, he won 13-5 by major decision, and now has Gogo in a good spot. Gogo now trying to flip back onto his stomach, trying to muscle forward McCracken. Good job there by McCracken to get himself an early 2 points.
And Gogolski there almost had a chance to flip McCracken on his back as he was able to keep pressure on his head. Take a look right here at the replay. Nice job by McCracken just using his leverage, and now gets another turn.
Hey, Gogo struggling so far here against McCracken. An early 5 points here for McCracken. Gogo does a good job of getting back up. So an escape point awarded there to Gogo, 8 points to 1. As I mentioned, McCracken definitely doing a good job this year as well. He's won 5 of his last 6 matches. His only loss came to Vineland, which came on the 11th of January. So Gogo now going to have to come from behind here against McCracken. Both wrestlers working with their hands, trying to...
Yeah, they're working in the collar tie here. And both of these wrestlers starting to stand up straight, and I think that plays to the advantage of McCracken because he seems to be controlling the collar tie right now, standing Gogolski up. Didn't go for a shot, but just something to watch out for if this match plays out all 3 periods.
So 5 seconds remain here in period number 1. Time ticks down. They stay in this collar, and I think that'll do it for period number 1. So Gogolski finds himself down by 7 here against McCracken, as Coach Des elects to go on the defensive to start here for Gogo. So McCracken will be on the offensive. Gogo now looking to explode off the whistle. McCracken does a good job of keeping him there. McCracken looking for the wrist advantage. Gogo tries to roll through, almost puts himself in a bad position.
And right now, off of that roll from Gogolski, it allowed for McCracken. You see McCracken has control of his leg. And Gogolski not in a good spot, but now belly's down.
Gogo now trying to roll through once again. Nice move there by McCracken. A great job there by Gogo to get back on his feet. Does get the escape points. McCracken throws him right back down. McCracken doing a great job. Gets the back points, all 4.
And they got to try and, Audubon coaching staff wants McCracken to pull Gogolski back to try and get that left shoulder blade down.
Gogo does a good job of flipping onto his side. McCracken does get all 4 back points, though. Gogo gets right back up onto his feet, and he goes out of bounds off the push.
We're going to take another look at this. Gogolski, nice job rolling out, gets to his feet, and then McCracken really loves using his upper body to take Gogolski down to the mat.
So now Gogolski and McCracken back in the neutral spot. Gogolski close to what could be a technical fall here against McCracken. One takedown for McCracken could win it against Gogo.
And right now, just in the collar tie, McCracken has controlled it all match. Gogolski got to look to try and create something outside of the collar tie. but they go right back to it.
So Gogolski needing to really get a spark here towards the end of the second period going into the third. Trying to get back into this one against McCracken, who has really just done a good job of controlling this one. McCracken trying to go for one last attempt as the time runs out. A couple seconds remain here in period number 2. And that'll do it between Gogo and McCracken. So McCracken now with a 15-3 advantage over Gogo. And for you people on cable, you could subscribe to our YouTube channel at Sterling Channel 19. We'll have all the same live streams that you guys see, plus much, much more with commercials and Castle Connections featuring our very own Mr. Claiborne. So make sure you guys go subscribe to our YouTube channel at Sterling Channel 19. And our next TV game, speaking of the stream, will be tomorrow. It'll be January 14th, girls basketball versus Paulsboro. That game starting at 4 o'clock. Not the normal 5:30 start, 4 o'clock. So make sure you guys remember to tune in at 4 o'clock to watch girls basketball. So an escape point awarded here to Gogo, as he has a lot of ground to make up here against McCracken and not a lot of time. Gogo would most likely need a pin to try and win this one.
Yeah, just down too many points on the scoreboard right here. I really like what McCracken has done all night tonight in this match. He's standing Gogolski up. And you see right there, he stood him up. Gogolski caught out of position, now hit with a stall warning. McCracken, the only one working forward. And for that reason, he's getting hit with the stall. As you can see, Gogolski clearly backing up. Not trying to work forward. Not trying to do anything right now. And being down on the scoreboard, you would think it'd be the opposite.
Yeah.
As we saw in the last match where Camacho was trying to really work, and we saw Patty get hit with a couple stalls.
Definitely some of the stamina kicking in here between these two wrestlers. But we've seen a lot of this collar position here between these two as the periods have gone on, as we're just under 1 minute to go here in period number 3.
Yeah, they're locking up, working the collar tie, but I think that advantage goes to McCracken. And right now, because they've been doing this all match, it really has been McCracken's advantage. But Gogolski was short time, now 35 seconds. Really has to get something going here to try and get back into this match.
So McCracken now trying to go for the leg of Gogolski, trying to get one more takedown here. 22 seconds remain.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Gogolski gets hit with another stall here. You can see McCracken is the one working forward. Gogolski is going back every time McCracken pushes him. He's not working forward, and that's what the official is looking for with the stall calls.
So 6 seconds remain here in period number 3. I'm not sure if McCracken's going to get it, as Gogo tries to go for one more move, but almost too little too late. And that'll do it here in period number 3. So 15-4, McCracken beats Gogolski with only 3 matches left for Sterling to try and get some points on the board.
And as you said, Dan, too little too late. Gogolski got the escape with, I feel, about around a minute left, and then just stayed in the collar tie and was very passive and let McCracken, the one leading the match, be the aggressor.
So now it is Kenny McCardle, or Big Papa Ken, against David Baradzik. And now this will be a good one here at the 190 weight position. And Baradzik gets an early 3 points over McCardle. And Jake, I think one of the common factors between a lot of these matches is Audubon does a great job of getting a good start, a good jump. And we've seen like these 3-0 with just a couple of seconds tick down as we look at the replay here.
Yeah, good job just spinning McCardle down to the mat, catching him out of position. Now McCardle already down 3 points. 30 seconds haven't even gone by in the match. I think that has been the main theme or factor here today, is just the explosiveness of Audubon early and often in these matches. We saw the first 3 matches end in a pin, as now Baradzik working the tilt here.
But talk about the flexibility there of McCardle to try and not get any back points. I don't think a single one was awarded to Baradzik there, in a position where a lot of bigger wrestlers at this 190 weight class would fold over. And here's another opportunity here for Baradzik. Does get 2 back points. And both wrestlers go out.
So 2 back points there for Baradzik, but if he keeps running that tilt, McCardle is on the verge. So we've got whistles and some blood on McCardle.
So as we take a look at the Colonial Liberty standings to really just show you guys why Audubon is so good, if you take a look in the conference that they're in, the Audubon Green Wave right now, 12-1 overall, 2-0 in the division. And, I mean, and a team like Paulsboro right there, historical great wrestling school at that 6-4 overall spot, 1-0 in the division, a team that Audubon, I don't think has yet to face.
Well, and right now, I mean, Audubon hasn't lost in the 2025 calendar year, and it looks like they'll continue to do that. I don't think Sterling has enough weight classes to come back from. We take a look at Sterling. They're 5-3 on the year, 1-1 in the division. But back to Audubon, they haven't lost since December 28th against Woodstown, where they lost 49-30. Since then, they beat Long Branch, they beat Northern Burlington, they beat Paul VI, Willingboro, Penns Grove, Haddon Township, Lindenwold, Mainland, Vineland, and Central Regional. And it's not like they're just barely beating these teams. They're winning by a large margin, 76-6 the score against Lindenwold, 66-15 against Mainland, and 67-12 against Vineland in their last 3 matches.
And to mention for Sterling, the road doesn't get much easier for them either. The next 3 opponents all have winning records, and they will be wrestling away as well between West Effort, Pennsville, and Collingswood. Collingswood, they definitely have their work cut out for them. Collingswood 9-3 overall in their division, 4-0 in the division. So Sterling definitely going to have a tough road, kind of an uphill battle as, you know, the matches go on, especially between the next 3.
Well, in their next match, 6-2 West Effort on the road, and West Effort, one of the better schools when it comes to wrestling in the Colonial Conference. So they have them up on their schedule, and Pennsville at 7-3. The next time they have a team with a losing record is against Haddon Heights, who's 3-5. 0-1 in the Colonial Patriot.
But now back to the action on the mat after that quick break in the action. McCardle now gets the cradle executed on him. Baradzik now gets the pin. So great job by Baradzik.
You see right here, he locks up the cradle, and you can see McCardle, he's trying to kick his right leg to try and flip himself over, but he's not kicking his left leg to try and break the grip of the cradle. So we take another look at it right here. Again, you see the leg that's locked up is not moving, meaning that cradle is tight. And now we move on. 2 matches left here in this match. So Audubon has officially secured it if they hadn't secured it a long time ago, but now 2:15, it's Liam Crawford for Sterling.
And Sincere Falk for the Audubon Green Wave. Now, Jake, I didn't want to cut you off, but that is also Audubon's 9th pin of the night, and I mean that is super impressive within itself.
And I mean they'll move to 13-1 as we talked about. This will be their 11th straight win as a team. They're on a special kind of run here, and John Walsh and the rest of the coaching staff have to be happy with the performance their wrestlers have put on here today.
And Jake, they wrestle in a super, super tough division as well with schools, as you mentioned, West Effort, as I mentioned, Paulsboro, Gloucester, and Haddonfield, just all historically great programs in terms of wrestling, especially here in South Jersey, and they're doing a really good job of kind of handling business this year.
And what's shocking to me is Haddonfield is having a down year this year. They're 0-3 in the Liberty division, 2-7 overall. They picked up both of those wins over the weekend, I believe on Saturday, because on Thursday when I looked, they were 0-5.
And from what I've heard, Jake, is Haddonfield also definitely it's been losing them in very, very close margins. It's not like they're getting blown out on a lot of these. It's super duper close, maybe even a match deciding between the two. I heard the Collingswood versus Haddonfield one was just one match. It came down to the very last one.
It came down to the last match. It came down to the 126 bout,
where I think Collingswood got the win over them, as these two wrestlers go straight to the ground. And it looks like an injury timeout here against Falk after that big slam there by Crawford.
We're going to take a look at it. Crawford is initially the one that goes down via the headlock, but a good job to reposition, and he gets on top of Falk, who landed awkwardly. You see, it was Falk who picked up Crawford and brought him down, and then Crawford repositioned. This is actually an awkward headlock because it looks like Crawford brings him down, but he brings him down on top of himself, and then mid-air, you see right there, Falk repositions and gets in the better position, and he lands on that left arm.
And as you heard, Jay, the gym erupted on both sides. I don't even think anyone knew who had the positional advantage. And it looks like a leg injury, and from the way it landed, it didn't even look like that was what was impacted. I thought if anyone were to be hurt, it would be Liam Crawford's arm.
Yeah, we're going to take another look at it right here. So Crawford picks him up, and then because Falk is the one, and you see right there, he doesn't firmly land on the balls of his foot. He lands on his toes, and for that reason, not the ideal landing spot. They're looking at the right ankle right now. But such an odd headlock. Crawford is the one that picks him up. As we look at it again, Crawford has control here, but Falk, mid-air, gets into a better position and ends up on top. You see the right leg land awkwardly, and then because it landed awkwardly, and I think that Falk was in some pain, Crawford was able to get on top. There's Crawford, great sign of sportsmanship, coming over, shaking his hand.
I think this might do it here for Falk tonight. I mean, it definitely doesn't look like.
By the looks of it, I don't think that he'll be able to continue, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, not a lot of weight being applied on that right leg, using the support of Sean Plank and one of his coaches as well. Yeah, I think that'll do it here for Falk. And Liam Crawford is awarded the winner. So Sterling's first 6 points coming off of a forfeit. So it is now 66-6 off of a huge takedown there by Liam Crawford.
And we're going to take a look at it again. Again, Crawford is the one bringing him down, but Falk able to reposition mid-air, and he lands awkwardly. His right ankle just not supported enough the way he landed.
Now, I must say, Jake, as a bigger individual, I love watching these heavyweight battles, and I think this is one that's going to be really good between Desi Mullen and Jonah Jordan for Audubon.
Well, Mullen, as a freshman, having a pretty good year, 4-5 overall. His last match he won by pinfall against Lindenwald on the 11th of January at the quad match that was hosted here at Sterling.
Now, I must say, Jake, it appears to me that Jonah Jordan definitely does have the height advantage, though, over Desi Mullen. Desi Mullen, a lot more built underneath, definitely not a tall wrestler by any means. It looks like Jordan definitely a lot more evened out in terms of the weight distribution and looks a lot more taller and a lot more thinner than Desi Mullen.
Well, and these big guys, they're going to lock up. We saw it throughout the previous matches, especially the one with Gigolski. We really talked about that one. But Mullen might want to try and work some things outside of the tie because it looks like Jordan is going to have the upper body advantage where he can do a lot more from that collar tie and upper body position.
So Jordan 5-7 as a junior. Last match in Malin, he won by pin. 4 out of the 5 wins by pin, 1 by forfeit. There will be a post-game show to follow directly after this match. We'll have a couple of the players from Audubon and perhaps Liam Crawford from Sterling.
And again, right now, it just looks like, just by the physique of both wrestlers, that Jordan would have the advantage in the collar tie. And right now, as you see right now, he's just pulling Mullen around. Seems to be controlling this match in the collar tie so far.
So the score is as good as gone here between Audubon and Sterling, 66-6 at the moment. But between Jordan and Mullen, we're at a 0-0 tie here, and with just under a minute to go here in period number 1.
And this match still matters for the 2 out on the mat for their individual records. Mullen can't win it for his team, and Jordan certainly can't lose it with the 60-point advantage on the scoreboard. However, Mullen can increase to an even 500, 5-5 on the year, and if Jordan's able to win, he's one closer to 500 at 6-7.
So time ticking down here, 15 seconds to go here between these two wrestlers in period number 1. It's been a lot of this collar lock between the two of them, not a lot of movement outside of that. 5 seconds remain.
And Dan, as you mentioned, Mullen seems to have more strength in the legs. He's got to stay low. He doesn't want to get out of his stance, and we're seeing that right now between getting pulled in the collar tie. He's getting out of his stance, standing straight up, and you see over there's Falk. Ice on the knee, and that's not a good sign. That's not a good spot for ice, Dan.
No, definitely not. And Jake, just to branch off of what you were saying, Desi Mullen does, I do 100% agree, is someone who is a center for the Sterling football team. I hate to bring it back to football, but I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of the lower strength comes from that sport. And I think Mullen, this is her first year being a wrestler and placed in this heavyweight division. And I think that's something he does need to try and start consistently doing.
And you saw right there, right out, again, as we mentioned, as Mullen looking to try and get the takedown. He gets it. And a good mat return. He's got to get his head up.
So Mullen now, first time we've seen either of these wrestlers on the mat thus far. Jordan looking for the escape. Whistle blows.
We're going to take another look at this right here. It looks like Jordan was in the better position, but nice job by Mullen to get behind, get on top, get awarded the 3. However, he locks his hands later. You see right there, he locks his hands while Jordan is still in the defensive position. Once Jordan's on his feet, he's able to lock those hands to try and bring him back down to the mat. But because he's still on his knees, can't lock the hands, he gives up a free point, now 3-2 after the illegal point there on the locked hands. Jordan gets one, and Mullen's bleeding, so that's where the blood time comes from.
And you can follow us on Twitter or X at SterlingTV19. We'll have live updates of all the sports happening and, of course, all the fun and exciting things that happen here around the castle. So make sure you guys go follow us on Twitter or X at SterlingTV19. So Mullen getting the treatment there from Sean Klink with the nose. Looked like that was where it was coming from. Thank you all for tuning in here. I'm Daniel Leakin, Max Zubak with the observations here, and then Jake Clark, who's been our main analysis. A lot of the talking today coming from Jake Clark, our wrestling specialist. So thank you all for tuning in here for a little bit of Monday night SmackDown, I guess you could say, between these two teams. Audubon definitely controlling the majority of it. Sterling down by 60, but nevertheless, it's been a pretty fun Monday between these two teams.
And I think just the major advantage, Dan, was early on we saw 4 of the first matches go by pinfall to Audubon, and that's what happens with Sterling. They have a full lineup, which is something that's very positive for the program. They hadn't been able to fill out a lineup for the past couple years, but they have a full lineup. But with that comes some freshmen in the starting lineup. First 3 guys they rolled out, Ryan Please, Chris Gallucci, and Thomas Fitzgerald, all freshmen.
And then Desi Mullen at the very bottom, also the freshman. And, I mean, Jake, to just add on to the youth, I mean, you have Cameron Johnson, who's a sophomore, Jaden Williams, who's a sophomore, Declan Winters, who's a sophomore, Camacho, who's a sophomore, so Liam Crawford, who's a sophomore. And, I mean, so you're definitely right about the experience thing. And when you just look across the board at Audubon, junior, senior, senior, junior, senior, senior, I mean, just the list goes on and on. They only have 1 sophomore in the lineup at that 190 spot. And I think that's where Audubon does get a lot of their power from, is their experience.
Well, their experience and the fact that they've done such a great job as a team. And one thing that you might not think about with wrestling, but momentum does play a factor, because if you're able to go out and you win the first 4 matches by pin real quick, it gives a lot of motivation for the 5th guy who's coming out to wrestle to go out and try and continue the trend. And Audubon has really just been, as the score tells, absolutely dominant. And who knows, if not for the unfortunate injury from Falk, they could have even more points on the board and not 6 in favor of Sterling.
Yeah, 9 total pinfalls tonight, Jake, for the Audubon Green Wave. So pure dominance on the mat from a lot of their wrestlers.
You also, in the middle of those pins, you have a tech fall from Lehan, who puts up 5, not 6, but nevertheless, still a ton of points going Audubon's way, as we saw in the team score, 66-6. Nice job by Mullen there to just circle out of it, and they work out of bounds. They stay neutral. Take another look at it.
Was a really nice job by Mullen to, take back positional advantage there over Jordan, who had him in a good spot as we take yet another break. Replugging the nose here of Desi Mullen.
And Dan, I mean, as we mentioned, this Audubon team, they're going to move to 13-1 today. That'll be their 11th straight win. Last loss coming back, their only loss, coming back on December 28th against Woodstown. So they've been on an absolutely dominant run, a special run here, 11 straight.
And as you mentioned, yet to lose in the calendar year as well in the Big 2025. And that will not change tonight. But again, as Jake mentioned, both of these individual records impacted here. 30 seconds left here in period number 2. All knotted up at 3 here between Mullen and Jordan.
And right now, if the locked hands doesn't get called on Desi Mullen, he still has the advantage.
Yeah.
But right now, tied at 3. And again, he's got to stay low and start to control this collar tie, because right now Jordan's doing a good job of pushing his head down, and eventually he could look to try and snap him down and get a takedown.
So now Jonah Jordan, about 5 seconds left, trying to take control, but it looks like nothing will happen here for the remainder of this second period. So you can follow us on Facebook at Sterling Channel 19. We'll have live updates of all the things you guys need to know at home happening at the castle. Also some stuff happening about Sterling Channel 19 and much, much more. So make sure you guys go follow us on Facebook at Sterling Channel 19. So 3-3, period number 3 of the last match of the night here between Mullen and Jordan. Audubon has this game good as one, but, or excuse me, this match good as one, but both of these individual records definitely either in jeopardy or in a good spot here between these two wrestlers, and we're off here in period
Watch right now. You see how Mullen has that right leg up. He's good. He gets it back to his base, but if he keeps that right leg out and extended, that's just asking to be cradled up. I do like the decision from Coach Dez and company, because Mullen almost got to his feet. If he was able to stay on balance, watch this right here. He gets out, but he falls to his feet. If he's able to just stand up and face him, he has the point there. He takes the lead. However, still plenty of time, a minute 30 remaining. Coach Desmond Wiggins not happy.
And I think, Jake, I think we both heard it out of our right ear, just the Sterling bench erupting, trying to stay up. And there, Desi got to stay, but he just takes a tumble.
He gets out, but he just loses his balance.
Timber from Desi Mullen there. Yes. And he gets the escape point anyway. So 4-3 the score here for Desi Mullen. He was in favor to win this one. A minute and 15 to go here in period number 3. Does get that escape point anyway after taking a little tumble there.
See, and now with the lead, you have to be careful here, because 2 stalls does create a point for Jordan. We already gave him a free point. Mullen already gave him a free point with the locked hands call. Don't want to give him another to tie the match and send it to overtime. So Mullen has to be aggressive, but not too aggressive, to not get caught with the stall, but still stay aggressive enough, or not get too aggressive to where he's going to go out of his way and get taken down.
So about 37 seconds remain here in period number 3. Mullen with a 4-3 advantage here over Jordan. Both wrestlers definitely feeling the effects of this one. Stamina going down as time goes on. Jordan trying to ragdoll around Mullen.
This is something right now. Mullen's standing straight up. He can't do that. He's got to stay in his stance as he gets driven off the mat. Stall warning to Mullen. Gets another one of those in the next 22 seconds. It's a point for Jordan, and this one goes to overtime.
So he has to be smart here as 22 seconds tick down. 4-3 the score here between Mullen and Jordan. Definitely the most active match of the night between these two benches and these two crowds.
And this is something, Dan, where experience pays off, because
Jordan
Mullen
now with the takedown. He gets his 3 points. 14 seconds to go. Mullen on his stomach. Not a lot of time for Mullen to try to adjust here. 10 seconds remain.
Yeah, Dan, that's going to do it for this one. You can tell Mullen's tired. That's where the experience comes into this one, because Jonah Jordan's a junior. He's been through a bunch of these 6-minute matches before. Desi Mullen, a freshman, this is only his 10th varsity match, high school match in general, where he's got to go the distance for 6 minutes.
And that'll do it. Between Jordan and Mullen, one takedown deciding the difference. Definitely the best match of the night between these two teams. And we're going to cut to break real quick. The post-game interview to follow with a couple of the Green Wave members and maybe a Sterling member or two. We'll be right back at you after this short commercial break.
I'm out of beer. Well, we need to go get some more. It's still dry. Yeah, let's go. Dude, take the seatbelts off. What are we doing? Yeah, you're right. I'm ready to drive. Yeah!
Don't drink and drive.
Where's your ID?
Hey, oh, wait a minute. Put that hood down.
You're late. Put your hood down.
Where's your ID?
And you have your backpack on.
Douglas. Here. Brody. Here. Joshua. Joshua. Joshua.
I don't think he signed up for flex time.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no, I'm too late.
So welcome back here after the Audubon Green Wave took a 69-6 win over your Sterling Knights. And first I'm going to be here with Pedro Marte. Now, Pedro, you're having a phenomenal season this year. I mean, how do you feel, first of all, just about the success you're finding this year on the wrestling mat?
I'm feeling great, but there's always room for improvement. It always starts in the room. As my partner right here, G. Patty, we always push each other in the room, and that's where it all starts. It starts with the little things, and that's when you come out here and you see the score. We work hard, so I'm just excited for the rest of the season to go on.
Now, I mean, just a team question. I mean, talk about the success you guys are having. I mean, so dominant this year, 12-1. I mean, you guys haven't lost since December 28th. And I mean, just talk about that dominance and talk about the team in general and just how much of a family you guys have really stuck together with as the time has gone on.
Yeah, our coach preached hard work, and we're really buying in this year. Like, all of our guys, we're working as a team. We don't think about each other. We think about each other. We're not like focused on just, I'm gonna go out there and get the win. We work as a team. If we gotta stay off our back, we're gonna stay off our back. If we need them 6 points, we're gonna go get them 6 points. So we're moving as a team right now.
Now, I mean, pure dominance on the mat from you today. And I mean, how did you feel during the match? I mean, what was going right for you? What did you see from your opponent? I mean, kind of expand on that.
I was just filling him out, but I always keep a high pace and high tempo. That's all it is keeping high pace and making him keep up with me. I got to push the pace, so that's all it is keeping a high pace and outworking him at every position, wrestling through every position.
Now, if you care sharing, I mean, what are some things you're looking to, keep the same going on forward? I mean, trying to, stay consistent as the time goes on because you're having yourself a phenomenal season thus far.
Yeah, it's only up from here. You just got to keep amping it up and keep going harder and harder. That's all it is. Just keep going up.
I appreciate you coming on. Thank you. Congratulations. And then next, it's going to be Gio Patty. Now, you had yourself a pretty tight match between yourself and Rene Camacho. And I mean, talk about that match. I mean, what was going through your head as, the time went on?
Yeah, I was just looking to push the pace. And once I got up, I feel like I do good with staying up and not making dumb mistakes. I've been wrestling my whole life, and I've been good with that stuff. So, yeah.
So now you're in your senior year. I mean, this is probably the tightest the team has been. I mean, you guys are top of your division at the moment. I mean, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked him. Talk about, the family aspect of your team right now. Talk about, wrestling for each other and not for yourselves. I mean, just kind of, if you can, just expand on that.
Yeah, we all work as a team, and we're selfish wrestlers. Our coach preaches that all the time. He wants us to get 6 as much as we possibly can, and that's why we've been so successful.
And I mean, Rene is a really skilled wrestler. We see him a lot here on Sterling Channel 19. I mean, going through your mind, facing someone like that, talk about, what you were feeling. I mean, what was going through your head as that match, continued and stuff like that.
I know I need to stay composed because if I made a mistake, I know he's good enough to capitalize off of that. So I think me staying composed was a big part of that match.
All right, thank you for coming on, Gio. Congratulations. Good luck for the rest of the season. So that'll do it here at Sterling Channel 19 after a nice Monday wrestling match between Sterling and Audubon. Audubon ultimately takes the win 69-6. We will see you guys tomorrow for girls basketball against Paulsboro. That game starting at 4 o'clock here at the Castle. Myself and your guy, Max Zubak, will be back on the call for that one. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. I appreciate all the support here at Sterling Channel 19. Very special thank you to Jay Clark for coming on and helping us out with wrestling today. That's going to do it. I'm Daniel Leakin saying so long.